Good morning. How's it going? Or good afternoon. You're going to watch this in the afternoon. So that's awesome. It's Peony Day. Look at the peonies. Oh my gosh. Wow. It's crazy. We have had some incredibly warm weather here in Michigan, 90 the last couple days. And so peonies weren't ready for Memorial Day, but boy, they're ready now and they are just bursting. And so I went out this morning to cut a couple peonies and I ended up cutting an entire bucket. I think I have, 17 different peonies in the yard. So they're not all different, but 17 different bushes, but several different varieties. And so I got up early this morning. I got up just as the sun was coming up. The sun starts coming up at like 5 o'clock now, which I love. There's nothing better than being in the cool. I watered everything last night too. The irrigation system goes off at night. And so with these extreme temperatures, I've been having the irrigation system go off early in the morning to make sure everybody's okay. But then these big blooms get filled with water. And so then they, collapse and kind of come down on the ground like that, and sometimes they even collapse the stem. So I got to cut them and get them into vases and arrange them for friends and family and everybody else. So that's what we're doing. And so I wanted to talk about peonies. So we'll do a couple of videos about peonies and show you some cool stuff that you can do with them. I also harvested some cool foliages that we're going to use from the garden. And so we'll be using those as well in some of these arrangements. I have different shaped vases that we're going to use because I'm going to put peonies all around the house. And I'm also going to make an arrangement for my sister-in-law, an arrangement for my mother-in-law, because they deserve flowers too. And it would be a good way to brighten up their days. So we have that going on right now. And so I made myself a cup of coffee and I went out into the garden early in the morning. That's the thing that I want to talk to you about is harvesting. Is you can harvest your peonies, but you should harvest them early in the morning after they're hydrated. So the fact that it was cooler here last night, got down to about 63. They were watered with cold water. When I went out this morning, there was cold water hanging off their leaves. They were all hydrated. They were plump. They were ready to go. And I even took some that are in this marshmallow stage. I call this a marshmallow stage because it, my friend Craig talks about it being a marshmallow stage too. I don't know. That's probably where I got it. But look at it. It's not a full open bloom. It's certainly not like this one back here or, those that are open. Well, let's look at one side by side, okay? So here is a fully open one like this, okay? Fully open, right? Marshmallow, okay? Because it looks kind of like a marshmallow and they're a little bit squishy, okay? Those are going to last longer. Those marshmallow ones are going to last longer. So if you want to grab those and get those and put them in your vase, it's a really good time because it's going to extend the vase life and it's just going to be more fun for people to enjoy them and enjoy them in the house. So we did that. Ice cold water, not warm water. Ice cold water in my bucket, took my bucket out to the garden with me. I was cutting, stripping off foliage, cutting again, and immediately putting into my water. All right, that's the process that we use. Inside my bucket, ice cold water with my friend Chrysal Professional 3. Okay, and so what Chrysal Professional 3 is going to do is that Chrysal Professional 3 has several things in it. It has a vasodilator to open up their vascular system. It has sugars so that it will start to feed the bloom because this bloom and these little tiny blooms right here need to have sugar so that they're going to open up. All right. We want the foliage to remain green. We want them to be as colorful as possible, as fragrant as possible, because, peonies smell great. And so my Chrysal Professional 3 is doing all that. It's also going to help reduce bacteria in the water too. So that's good. But the ice cold water, because warm water has air in it and warm water starts to degrade the vascular and tissue system of the flowers. It starts to cook it actually, just like we would cook asparagus. It's asparagus season now too. Asparagus season in Michigan, and it's almost strawberry season. Yay! So anyway, so that's what we're doing. And I went out there with that. So now I'm going to put them into vases of cold water. I have filled all my vases here, all around with cold water. I also went through today and I cleaned out my arrangements. So I had arrangements. We had a production a couple weeks ago. And after the production's over, what we do is we make sure that all of our crew gets to take things home. We also send flowers to hospice. We also share them with areas with different people in the area that want to do projects with them. They might be for nursing homes and things like that. So we do that as well. But we make sure that we give all those flowers away. And I think that's very important. But I also take some home, and I choose some that I want to take home too, because after we've shot all week, we can still take those flowers home. So I had flower arrangements around the house, and some of the flowers were starting to expire, but I had some that were still doing good. Okay, so these are still some of my flowers that are doing good. Carnations, there's some protea in here, and there's also some hosta leaves. But I have pink carnations, hot pink carnations, variegated pink carnations, and white carnations that are doing well. So they will also go into other arrangements that we are going to make too, because I don't like to throw flowers away. And somebody made that observation the other day, a really sweet person on comment here on YouTube that said, hey, I'm so glad that as a professional, you reuse flowers too. Absolutely. I am not going to throw a flower away until it is time. And peonies, some of the peonies that we have some yellow ones in here. Yellow ones aren't going to last quite as long because they're an Ito type peony. And when a peony starts to go, it's a couple petals here, and then it's blah, 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 all the petals go on the table. And I love that. I love it when that happens. I'm also going to infuse some vodka with peony petals because I heard it makes a really pretty pink, tasty vodka. So I'm going to try that too. So I think that should be a very fun thing that we're going to do as well. So we'll do that in another video. Okay. But yeah, so I've got all sorts of plans for my peonies. Okay. And so we're going to do that. We have some foliages back here. We're going to talk about those. It's 9-bark season. The 9-bark is blooming fabulously. It's shedding a few petals. I think it's so interesting because I like it when the petals fall on the table. That's like a really cool thing to me. It's like part of the experience is that the flowers are fleeting and that they're going to go away after a period of time. So as those petals fall onto the table, it's like confetti. I think it's fun. And it's not like, oh dear, the flowers are shedding. No, they're going to fall apart because they're a memory. We're creating memories that last a short period of time and increasing our health and wellness benefits with them as well. So that's also important that we're doing that too. So that's one of the things. So hopefully you've grabbed your favorite beverage and you're sitting down. If you're doing the live chat with us for the premiere, I am over here. I always do it backwards. I'm over here, okay, in the live chat, and we're chatting along. So if you have questions, put them over here and I'll answer them. Okay. I was AWOL for a couple of weeks because we had the production, and that consumes all my time. So I was unable to make videos. So I'm still trying to keep these videos going, but gets to be a little bit of a struggle sometimes. So I'm glad that you enjoy them, and we'll keep trying to make them as we progress through the summer and get really cool things that you can arrange. But peonies is what we're talking about today. So we're going to start with this vase first. This is for my sister-in-law, Tisha, and I have a liter of water in there. So I'm going to do a squirt of my Chrysler Professional 3. That's perfect. And I like the way that my coffee cup mug looks with my shirt. This is an Alice in Wonderland. It's an Alice in Wonderland mug I got years ago at Disney. And I love it because it matches my shirt. Yeah. So anyway, all right, we have that. So with this, then, we're going to do a mixture of different types of peonies inside this vase. Chrysler Professional 3 inside there. I like a vase like this because it's a smart vase. The neck narrows in. There's plenty of room for water at the bottom and room for the flowers to expand out the top. All right. We are going to use some 9-bark inside there, which is great. I'm going to grab a little bit of 9-bark. This is a native to Michigan. 9-bark is a native to Michigan. It is a dark colored foliage, and I love it. I have 2 bushes of 9-bark. I want to get some more. There's a company that does a little native. Look at those. They're almost in the water. So there we go. Better. All right. So there's a nursery that does native type flowers and plants, and they do 9-bark and dogwood. And so next year I'm going to go there because we're putting in a project for season 4 of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom in the front yard. We have got an erosion issue and also a winter kill issue. And so we are building a berm out front that is going to take care of the erosion. It's going to channel the water in a different direction. We have 2 levels, and we have these stairways that come down into the magical garden. Right. It's so pretty right now. Oh my gosh. It's just so pretty when you come down those pathways and then you go into the backyard. My yard is my yard. My yard is my yard. We live in a subdivision. We live on a cul-de-sac. There is, there's 40 houses in the development, and I'm just one of those houses, okay? But then we built these little stairways down into the garden, and it's just this magical area in the back where we have all the peony bushes, and we have clematis, and we have hostas, and we have trees, and I just continue to keep adding things. As a little kid, I would go over to people's homes, and I would see the amazing things that they had in their homes for and gardens that they had. And one of my favorites was always like when a garden seemed to be magical, and it was like you were being transported into a different spot. These are hosta leaves that I've had in other arrangements, and they're still looking great. So we're going to use those hosta leaves inside here to provide some foliage structure for everybody. But I just love that. And so I just continue adding. I put my lights out the other night too. I have these solar powered lights that I light up under trees and up under plantings. And it's just so pretty at night. And you know what? We need that escape. If it's simply, I tell you, I lived in Atlanta for a couple of years. And when I lived in Atlanta, I lived in an apartment, and I had a deck. And on my deck, I had 3 container gardens, and that was my magical spot. And I would sit out with those 3 container gardens. And so if you have that container garden that you've planted, my friend Kim the other day planted her container gardens and sent me pictures. So precious, beautiful. If that's your magic spot, embrace your magic spot and have that place where you can do that. I think it's so important for us to have that little escape place. And also, if it's a place where you're simply buying a bunch of flowers at the grocery store and you're bringing them home and you're putting them on your dining room table, and you don't have an outdoor space, and you don't have container gardens, and you don't have a garden, that your magical space is with those flowers. Because those flowers allow so many things to happen. They're just like my dogs. My dogs are magical to me. And they are my pets. They're my loves. I love them. I love to be around them. I love to have them sit on my lap. I love to play. I make up voices for them. All of that stuff. We need to keep that creative, inspirational, inspired part of our lives around us and nurture it and feed it. It's so important. So right now we have structure inside my vase. I digress, right? So let's make some pretty flowers, right? So what we're going to do is, okay, so I just talked about that. My little marshmallow. I'm going to use my marshmallow inside this vase because I want my sister-in-law to have extra time with that flower. Now look at that. I have a stem that has 2 leaves on it. And I'm going to use that inside this vase. It doesn't have a flower on it, but my Chrysler Professional 3, okay? Chrysler Professional 3 is going to feed those leaves. It's going to keep them green. It's going to keep them supple. And it's also going to add structure to my arrangement so that I can add more things, right? So now we'll go from our little marshmallow to another one. Look at this one. Look at the size of this one. It's a little bit bigger. And so we're going to stick that down inside there. We've got one that's bigger. So look at, we got small, medium, large, okay? And with this large one, I'm going to cut it a little bit shorter, but look at, it's still got that bud on it, right? I want to have that bud in this arrangement. You know what? I want him even shorter. So what I'm going to do is cut that off there because I want this to come down lower on this side. Okay, look at how that's lower. Now here's my stem with my bud on the end. That's going to go in here because that little bud is going to open up. I noticed this week I had buds on my peonies last week when I made my arrangement. The yellow one and the other peony arrangement that you saw. I had buds on those, right? And the buds are opening up now. And I think that that's just so fascinating is that this guy might be expired or this guy might be expired, but now these little buds are coming on. So we're creating an arrangement that's going to last for a long period of time for someone. And I think that that's very important is thinking about the way that we can utilize our flowers and that we're feeding them and creating opportunities for them to be longer lasting. Now, the other thing, I hope that you have, picked out your favorite music. Maybe you got your favorite music on. You've got your favorite beverage. That's the best part. It's Sunday here. So, it's interesting because now that we do these videos, sometimes I have to hit the videos when I can and get them done and, that type of thing. And I'm just making myself a note because I want to tell you something else. But the Dave Koz Lounge is on right now, and I love Watercolors on Sirius. I listen to that all the time, and I love Dave Koz's show, and I'm missing it right now because we're doing this. So sorry, Dave, but flowers are very important to me, very, very, very important. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was my friend Judy this morning. I posted a picture of this. My friend Judy, Georgia Hendricks from Nebraska. She had sent me a note this morning, and I had said, I was letting my peonies rest a little bit because after I cut them, I wanted them to sit in their vase for a little while so that they would harden up. I put them down here in the, I'm actually on the second floor, so it's colder down here because of the air conditioning system. And so it's much colder down here. So I bring the peonies down here so that they'll get colder and it kind of crisps them up. I wish I had a cooler. I wish I had a cooler in my house. I've always wanted a flower cooler in my house. And someday, maybe I will get there because I want to keep things longer. And you know what would happen is I would put the flower arrangements out in the house and then I would put them in the cooler at night. Then I'd get them out in the morning so that they would last longer. And then I would have flowers all the time, which would be so awesome, right? Because that's what I want. But anyway, so, but it's cooler down here for them. And so she said, oh, I always leave them out on the porch so that they get rid of the ants. I want to know how she gets rid of the ants. Do the ants have to go then when it's just sitting up there? And she's like, okay, now all you ants go. And they all just listen to Judy because I would. And we just be like, okay, we're going to go off. Da, 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 da. But ants are part of what happens with peonies. I don't mind ants. I don't care. I don't mind bugs. I don't mind spiders. I don't mind all those things. With a house, you got spiders. With a house, sometimes you got an ant. Sometimes you got, who knows? Right now, last night, I was washing my face before I went to bed. And there was a stink bug on the towel. And I was just like, hello, little friend. And so I picked him up, shoved him outside. So, I think they smell like cilantro. That's what I think that stink bugs smell like, cilantro. Some people think that cilantro smells like soap. So I don't know. There's 12% of the population think that. So just let me know that. Okay. So anyway, I digress again. So now we've got some really cool pink peonies in this, right? That's pretty fun that those guys are in there. And so now I'm going to add some other colors. And so let's bring in some of these darker pink ones that look like that. Oh, so when I cut this one this morning, I just wanted you to see him. Look at, he has a little bud here, a big bud, and two other buds. So there's a little bud under there, the big bud, and then there's two buds. Now, look at that. When I add this to this arrangement, it's like a spray rose. It's a spray peony. Look at how it fills in all that area. Isn't that cool? I mean, I just love cutting things. Now, I know that some people, when they go out into the garden and cut their peonies, I'm pulling off this petal because he's got a little brown edge on him. Some people go out there, they just cut off the big bloom. Like they would just cut off this bloom right here and then leave those other two to come on. You can do that. I'm all about it. Then you have a short little arrangement. I like a long stemmed arrangement. So when I'm creating a long stemmed arrangement like that, I cut them longer, and so then I get the buds. And so then the person who gets the arrangement gets the benefit because then those buds are going to open up after the big one's gone. Now these guys, it's always interesting to me. I cut these little itos. These are little ito sports that come off of my tree peonies because sometimes tree peonies want to revert back to their original stuff. I'm getting full in here. There we go. But I like them because they open up. They're a single bloomed peony. They have a single petal count, and then they have a center that's very polleny. I love that. They're just so pretty. And so there's a couple of those in here. Let's throw a couple of them in there. I think that'd be great. And so when I bring them back inside, oh, see now this one's starting to go. Look at, he's starting to expire, but you know what, here, I'm just going to show you because I'm not going to use this. Look, his petals are falling already. So there was 6 or 8 petals on there, but look at the center, right? I love that. I think that's so pretty. Yeah. I just like, peonies fascinate me. I just love them all. I love them all. And I need to get some more added into my garden. But the other thing, I just squished an earwig right here. The earwigs also get on the peonies because it's wet and it's damp. Okay, I don't know why they're called earwigs because I don't think they come in your ear, inside your ears, but you know, oh, well, whatever people think. So this is another variety that I have out there in the garden. They're kind of being, you know, they're all tangled up inside here. Look at that color. Beautiful, right? And so I'm gonna put him right here. And I need one more of those little individual single petal guys inside here. This smells divine, right? That's the other thing that's so awesome about it. All right, now see, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Who wouldn't love that on your table? I know. My sister-in-law is gonna love it. Her name's Tisha, but my nieces always called her Aunt TT. I love that. So I always call her TT too. TT will love this. So we're going to spray it with our Chrysler Professional Glory. Ta-da! I'm just going to make it longer, 26% longer. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this over here for right now. All right. Now let's make another one here. This one's going to be for my mother-in-law. How about that? And I like using, when I have peonies like this, I like using a tapered vase because I think that that's super helpful. You know what? I'm going to change my mind because this vase is kind of heavy. And for my mother-in-law, not that this vase isn't more heavy, but it's easier to grab a hold of. Okay. She's older. She's in her 90s. Love that. And so we've got that nice tapered base. And same thing over here. We're going to replicate something like this again with that. Great place to add water. Then it's easier for her to hold on to with two hands like this rather than that other one that isn't as easy to hold on to. So always got to take that into consideration. Think about that. So we will use a couple of these hostas. At the end of my hostas, I love this. They start to get a little suction end on them from sitting in the vase. And so I just cut those ends off. These are from my reuse pile, okay? Because those hosta leaves are still great, right? And we are going to use, look at this, look at this. Isn't that fun? Look at that piece of 9-bark with those beautiful blooms on it. So pretty. And it's going to slip down inside here. It's going to provide a little bit of structure for us, which is great. And oh, see, now look at this one. This is one piece of 9-bark too. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces on it like that are just going to hang off. And where my mother-in-law puts this in her house on a bookcase. And it's a bookcase that's in the middle of her living room. And so, and there's a stairwell that goes downstairs. So when I do this like this, I'm thinking about where I'm going to put it. And it's just going to be fun because it can reach out into the room and it sits on the corner. So it can go over the stairwell and it can kind of be around there and she can see it from her dining room table and it's pretty and it's cute. And it's just a great spot for it. I'm also going to throw in a couple of these pink carnations, right? Okay. So these are pink carnations that I reclaimed and repurposed. I just love a carnation. And basically they're going to add color down deep inside. They're almost virtually going to disappear, but they're going to be down inside the arrangement. So they add a little bit more structure down inside there. Okay. So that's pretty, so these are I love these. Look, it's a pink carnation with a little, oh, sorry. You know, I even toned down the lights today. I don't know if you can see it, but it looks like a peppermint carnation, but it's pink and white instead of red and white. Okay. So there we go. All right. Now let's see. We will start again with our peonies. I'm tearing apart peonies over there. So look at this little bud was broken. He was weighted down. Something happened to him. So I'm going to put him over here for a little project later. Okay. And see, this was the, look at, there it goes. But you know what's interesting about this is I can cut off that center piece. I still have 2 buds on there. So I'm going to use that inside here too, because it's going to be interesting. And, excuse me, I forgot my Chrysal Professional 3 down inside there, because Jay gets to talking and then he doesn't, he forgets. Okay, so then let's take another one over here. So many of these were so heavy today that they had gone like this and then it had bent right here. And so if I did not cut these, they would not have survived in the garden either. So that is why I have my arrange plant theory. That is all flowers that are planted in Jay's magical garden are for arranging. That's the only reason that they're out there. They're out there for arranging, enjoying, sharing, spreading joy to other people. I think it's so important. And so that's why I plant those out there. Now look at, so the other day my yellow peonies, I have 2 yellow peonies. They are also an Ito variety. So that's going to open up. Wow, it looks so yellow. It doesn't, it's bright, vibrant yellow. Okay. And again, follow me on Instagram because Kelly takes pictures of the arrangements and puts them on Instagram and on Facebook. So if you follow us there on Instagram, we're You Bloom. On Facebook, it's Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom to see the pictures of the beautiful arrangements that we make. And you can see them in true colors because with our USB camera here that is made for God knows what, fast, quick, loose videos from your home. We don't get the great color that we do. It was so amazing when we were filming for Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom and other You Bloom videos last week. 2 weeks ago. It's been 2 weeks ago. The colors are so vibrant and so amazing. And that's what HD is all about. I just think that it's so important, So tools, just while we're talking about tools that we're using today, we're using our Dram bypass cutter and our Dram compact pruner. I also have a knife over here if you're so inclined. But I love these 2 tools. I love my Dram tools. They are part of the Color Point series too. So they come in 6 different colors. This is the red. There's red, yellow, orange, green, blue, and purple. Okay. So my mother-in-law loves red. She loves the color red. She has a red chair in her red chairs in her living room. I love that. For my friends watching from Nebraska, they're like, oh, of course, everyone has red chairs in their house because it's Go Big Red in Nebraska and everybody has red stuff. But in Michigan, it's kind of unusual to have somebody with red. So there's that. But anyway, so I got to grab a couple of those red peonies because look at those guys. Look at how dynamic those look in there. They don't look as red as they really are in real life. But anyway, so yeah. I like this little surprise. The yellow one that I have in here is just really pretty, and that works really well. And it's going to open up nice, and it's going to look great on this side. It just adds a little bit more color and dimension to everything. I'm going to use one more of these pink ones because I think we need a little bit more pink in here. There we go. With those, yeah, so now we've got light pink, medium pink, dark pink, yellow. We got the pretty little 9 bark. We got all that going on. Perfect, right? And so, yeah, it's another way that we can share our love of flowers with other people. So, Chrysal Professional, Glory, anti-transparent going on these beautiful petals because peonies evaporate water off their face very, very quickly, right? And so there we go. There we go. Looking good. These look good, right? Right? Look at. So we got this one, we got this one. And so now it's time to make somebody's day happier with flowers. The other great thing is when we're slowing down, doing our ritual of arranging flowers, we're releasing endorphins. Those endorphins allow us to be calmer, more laid back, relax us. And when we give these to other people, we release dopamine for them. When they're getting the flowers from us, they release dopamine, which makes them feel better too. So these 2 little bouquets are going to go brighten a couple people's day, right? It's going to be awesome. And I think Kel's going to be the deliverer. So that's awesome, even better. So, you know, so you get that fun as well. So I hope you enjoyed these as part 1, and come back a little bit later for another video, and we'll show you a couple more ways to arrange glorious peonies. All right, until next time, keep having fun with flowers.